let's see. So I'm talking as a guest speaker, right? Which is a little different than a core Zen Center speaker. So I'm a guest speaker now, right? Which I love. I really do. I love it. I'm super busy at work as a teacher, teaching middle school, and I have my daughter Zoe, who's 15 now, and so I'm super busy. I just really don't have the time I used to be able to participate in all the Zen Center stuff. Um, and so it makes more sense for me to be, coming from the outside in rather from the inside out, because I like to talk about things. I don't know. I wouldn't say necessarily non-traditional, but my talks are often non-traditional, in a sense. In a sense. Um, and so today I wanted to take us up on that, on this non-traditional talk, and I wanted to share a practice that's worked for me and that I really hope can work for anybody who's interested in trying it out. Um, it's a love practice, and it's sharing love, right? And and so there is a tradition, particularly in Tibetan Buddhism, called Tonglen, where it's kind of a love practice, but not specifically. I mean, it comes from a place of love, but it's not literally sending love. The Tonglen practice, which is amazing, right? It's an incredible practice and powerful and used worldwide, is to breathe in the pain of those who we're thinking about, say a particular population or demographic or loved one or family member, it's breathing in their pain or suffering, and then breathing out whatever is best for them, you know? So it's not a very specific practice. It's not specifically breathing in their feeling of loss or grief or abuse, and then breathing out a particular healing emotion for that. It's just more general. So I'm gonna take in the suffering out there, and then I'm gonna replace that with whatever positive energies are going to be helpful for them or for you. This practice that I'm suggesting today that I want us to practice is a love practice specifically. And we're not going to be breathing in pain of others. Uh, we're just gonna take a deep breath, and then we're gonna breathe out loving energy. We're gonna feel love, and then we're gonna breathe that and project that onto whatever it is that is stressing us out. Uh, and I developed this practice. I never really practiced Tonglen, but I developed this practice for myself when I was just overwhelmed with stress and anxiety, particularly at work, having difficult situations to work with, difficult bosses to work with, and just feeling overwhelmed with stress and anxiety. I was like, man, something's got to shift. I was on the phone with my psychiatrist, like, do I need to come get some hardcore prescription medicine for this? Which is no, there's nothing wrong with that, but I was trying to avoid that. And because I take other prescription medicines already for, things. And so I didn't want, I'm just trying, anyway, I was looking for a way to do this without that as a last resort, which is definitely recommended for anybody who is at the last resort. But for this, I was like, okay, I've been I've been practicing Zen for like over 25 years, and I should be able to manage this, using all my resources. And so what I came to was, man, I'm going to. So I do qigong a lot too. I used to. I don't do it so much right now, but I've done a lot of energy work. I consider myself an energy healer, and so I'm like, okay, I can do this. And so I came up with a combination of like planking. So like just leaning up against the wall, right, gets the whole body engaged. And that was sort of the easiest way to do this. We're not going to do that here now, but I do recommend it. So planking a little bit, not like hardcore planking, but just lean up against the wall. For like 20 seconds, you'll start to feel it, right? Even just a very slight incline angle will create a tremendous amount of resistance in the body and start to engage all the muscles. So I would plank a little bit, engage all my muscles, and then bring up the feeling of love. And so, what is love? Well, love for this practice is like puppy love, right? It's like the love I feel when I see my dog, when I walk in the door every day. Like, oh my gosh, I love you. Or a kitten, or a baby, right? Something that's like, oh, it's like, oh, I love it. Um, and so, whatever brings that up for you, right? I think everybody has some experience with a puppy or a kitten or a friend or family that we just love unconditionally. So it's unconditional love, but it's not intellectual. It's a very visceral, physical feeling of, oh, I feel buoyant. I feel bubbly. I feel like I'm floating a little bit. It just kind of is I release my stress and I'm feeling almost floating, just with this buoyancy. And so that's the love that we can embody, right? Um, Anybody can embody this so that we're feeling it in our body, almost like dropping in an elevator, right? We have this visceral sense of lightness, and it's a nice feeling. And then the love almost bubbles up into my throat. It's like, oh, I can feel it really bubbling up into my throat and my head, and it's like, oh, I just feel this joyous, unconditional, sense of connection and support. Okay, so I don't know if that's a long introduction or not, but hopefully that gives everyone a sense of what we're going for here. And so on the other side is whatever is stressing us out or pissing us off. Like, man, geez, I'm so irritated. I'm so upset. I'm so resentful. I'm so angry at, it could be circumstances, it could be people, it could be our health, it could be our mental health. Things that we are just feel really upset about or at. And so it's open, it's truly open to whatever is upsetting us or irritating us. And so it's this combination, right, of connecting with what we're upset with and feel disconnected from or angry at, and then bringing up this sense of unconditional buoyancy and love, and then projecting that love to whatever it is that we're upset at. And so in my experience, right, this really helped me get through the most difficult times that I had. Things that I'm not going to sit still for an hour with this. I did not want to do Zen with this. It's like, man, this sucks so bad. I'm so overwhelmed. I need a physical practice where I'm moving and I'm projecting and I'm thinking and I'm practicing in a new way. Zen, however, gave me the foundation for this, right? So Zen, practicing Zen for 20 years, gave me the foundation so that I can open up to this and I can use this, and my intuition is strong enough from Zen practice that if I listen to it, it's guiding me in the right way. And that's what Zen has given me. And so this is not an alternative. I mean, it's an alternative. It's not a replacement It's something we can do both, and it's important to do both. I think without doing Zen practice, I may not have had the intuition to get to here, where I can do a different practice that works in a different way. So before we get started, I just want to open it up. Are there any questions or comments? Anything that comes up really strong, somebody feels like you want to say before we kind of go into practicing this together?
That bubbly love feeling just doesn't come.
What if the bubbly love feeling just doesn't come? Well, I believe that it will. It's the joy in life that we've had, right? I have no doubt we've all experienced joy in our life. If you literally have never experienced joy in your life, then I'd like to talk with you, after to see what's up, because it is a universal human experience to have joy of some kind, as well as suffering, right? So sometimes when we sit, the suffering doesn't come up. I did talk about this today. If the suffering's not coming up, just hang in there. It will. Sit, do some sesshin, and it will come up. And so the same with the joy, right? If the joy does not come up, it's hard to get it flowing. Then it's a practice that I recommend, right? I've done a lot of practice with bringing joy up. And it was a real practice. And it was like, whoa, it's like if I bring my energy up into my throat, I feel it in my throat. And then I also imagine dropping in an elevator, right? So feel the feeling of being in an elevator, and then when it drops, it just brings all of our senses up. It just brings like I'm tingling almost up here, if I can recreate that feeling. And so these are some tricks that I recommend. The elevator, and then thinking of things that have brought us joy in our life. It could be a loved one, it could be an animal, or just a thought. Yeah, and if that feels really stuck, then I do recommend practicing with it. Because I think it's important for us to be able to access our feelings, and like, oh, I can kind of like acting, right? Like a method actor, right? Now be angry. Now be love. As part of the Bodhisattva vow is to like, I can go in and out of these difficult and lovely feelings with some freedom. And it does take practice. And so I really appreciate the question. And I think it brings up a great subtlety of this practice that I'm suggesting. And so that was perfect, right? It's exactly what I'm asking for. It's for people to have, if you have any questions about the process, feel free to please ask me now, before we get started or after. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. So I'll talk us through it a little bit, right? I'm going to talk, it's almost like a guided meditation, at least for the first few minutes. And then I may drop the guiding and just let us try to practice this without the guidance. But for sure, to get started, I will lead us through it. Okay, so we're sitting here and with a intention of relieving our stress, right? Relieving my pain, relieving my suffering through this practice. And so, okay, so we're sitting here, and I want us to think of something that really irritates us or that we're stressed out about. like currently. Ideally, it's like current. If we're all doing, if you're doing great, then great. Think about, think about the next level of things that are stressing us out. It may be something that happened in my past. It may be a resentment. It may be something that I may have to be stressed out about in the future, maybe a month or two from now. Maybe I have a public speaking engagement, or I have to deal with some stress, or something that I can project into the future that I feel is going to happen. Um, it could also be a loved one that we haven't talked with for a while. Maybe it's like something lingering in our life in the background. It's like, oh, I really want to take care of this relationship, or, oh, I miss that friend, and, we burned our bridges, and I still feel it still affects me, and I want to recover that somehow, in some way. So whatever it is for you, that you can identify, you can feel the stress around. It could be a place. It could be a place I don't like to go. It could be a person. It could be a job, or it could be a health condition, mental or physical. So identify that. Okay, and so now start to feel the loving joy and appreciation and gratitude and love for anything that brings that up for us. For me, it's imagining walking into the door and seeing my puppy, or my daughter, working with my daughter, and feeling that connection when it's good. Okay, and so now project this feeling of love into the space of what is causing suffering. Sometimes I repeat, like, I love you, or I'm sending love to you, I'm sending love to you. I send love to my own anxiety about it. Leaning into it, like leaning to offer, giving an offering of this love to that space, to that person, to that stress, to that fear, to that anger. I send love to my resistance of what I need to do to take care of that. It's okay to feel emotional about it. It's good. So I'm going to open it up now. So please just share at your, whenever it's convenient for you.